episode of Pucks Across Borders is brought to you by the one, the only First Round Collectibles. Right now, you can use our promo code Sports Addict to get 10% off whatever sports cards you want in the entire store. They have tons of cards, a ton of options. They have football, basketball, hockey, boxing, wrestling. Maybe your kid saw Grimace in Times Square today. He's a giant Mets fan now. They have Mets cards, they have baseball. So go to firstroundcollectibles.com. That's the number one, ST roundcollectibles.com. Use our promo code SportsAddict for 10% off anything in the store. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah, let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah, oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original.
Welcome to Pucks Across Borders, even though there's really no border because it's just me today, but we're here to talk some more hockey. Unfortunately, Mark had some other things to attend to. Life happens. It is what it is. But to everyone tuning, whether it's live or in the future, we appreciate you. Shout out to Apex Sports for hosting. Go check them out as well. It's just me, Andre, today. Going to get it started. Hope you're having a good one. Just a quick recap of what happened yesterday. There were 9 games, pretty busy day in the hockey world. So down in Tampa, it started there. Lightning struck 4 times in their 3-goal win over the Canucks. They moved to 2-0-0 on the season. Moving to the nation's capital, DC still controls Vegas. They had the cup rematch and they won 4-2. In Carolina, Jersey couldn't contain the Hurricanes. The Carolina got the first win of the season, 4-2, big one, especially in that Metro division. The Florida Panthers pounced with 3 straight goals. They were down against the Blue Jackets, but squeaked out a 4-3 win despite getting outshot 38-22. In St. Louis, it was a house of blues as the Wild went into St. Louis and pulled out a 4-1 road win on national television. And on Broadway, there was a Kraken sighting. Seattle scored 7, took down the Predators 7-3. Nashville still has not picked up a point yet this season. They joined one other team who happens to be in their division that we'll talk about tonight as pointless on the year. Dallas danced with danger. They escaped the Shark attack 3-2 with a shootout win. Matt Duchene scored a goal and had the shootout winner in that one. The Calgary Flames iced the Chicago Blackhawks using an empty netter to win 3-1 in the last minute. So, that was a matchup we were looking forward to yesterday, and Calgary came up on top. Last but not least, also in Alberta, Michkov for the Flyers. And that's the first 2 of his career. It gives Philly an early 2-0 lead, but it was Draisaitl's OT winner that capped a 2-goal comeback in an OT win for the Edmonton Oilers, their first of the season. We were worried about them. They finally get back on track. Kudos to them. Pretty busy day. See some teams get those first wins out the way. See some teams like Nashville still struggling. It is early, so no need to panic just yet. But this season, it's already proven to be unpredictable. You can't control the puck. As we move into tonight, we have 4 games. 2 of them nationally televised. It is Wednesday. Have a couple interconference clashes. But it's, there's a 7, there's some 10s. The schedule is staggered pretty nicely. Getting things started, we have Sid the Kid and the Penguins back at home taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Pittsburgh, slight favorites at -115 on DraftKings.com. All the odds for this episode are going to be courtesy of DraftKings. The over-under for this one, 6.5. Or actually, I'm sorry, it just moved to 6 since I typed this. But Over under 6. The over is slightly favored at -122. The under 6 is +102 right now. The puck line has the Penguins at +205. Sabres -250 at +1.5. So I do have Mark's picks. I have to pull them up here in a second. I haven't looked at them yet. What I have for this game, Buffalo, they've been struggling so far. 0 power play goals, 1 goal scored in their first 3 games. I guess 3 of their 4 games for the season. Offense has been an issue for them. I guess special teams in general has been an issue for them. If we're going to also look at the PK, I think they're 76.9% right now. That's 21st. Not really looking good if you're giving up 1 out of every 4 shorthanded chances. So roughly, I know that's not exact math. So Buffalo, special teams problems, scoring problems. This is their first game truly on the road. They have one that was in Prague, but otherwise they've been home for the first 2 games against the Penguins, who they've allowed at least 3 goals in every game. So that right there, the Pittsburgh defense and goaltending against Buffalo's lack of offense, huge battle. Going to decide this game. I'm rolling with the Penguins on this one. I trust them to slow down the Sabres more. I trust the Sabres not to score more than I trust Pittsburgh to continue giving up 3+ goals. Pittsburgh has a clear special teams edge. I think top end talent, even though they're older, still rolls in Pittsburgh's favor. And they are home. Again, they only played home once this year. It was that 6-0 loss to open the season. So they're going to want to bounce back from that. And I think this is the perfect way to do it. The Sabres team, not really that good. At least they haven't shown to be yet. So fading them, taking them -115 for the Penguins. Mark, for this game, picked the Buffalo Sabres -105. Moving on to the game that he truly cares about. The Los Angeles Kings taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are in Toronto. For the Kings, this is another part of their opening road trip. They started the season in Buffalo, went to Boston, went to Ottawa. They have, after this, they're at Montreal, then they're at Anaheim, then they're at Vegas. They're not getting a home game anytime soon. This is, fortunately for them, the penultimate one. If you're talking about that Northeast kind of stand, probably their toughest trip as far as travel for the season. So looking at the Maple Leafs, defense has been impeccable. Goaltending has been impeccable. They've allowed 5 goals on the season. 1 in the first game, 2 in the next 2 games. They won the previous 2 games 4-2. Offense found their groove after getting shut out in the first one. I think they're clicking. Whereas the Kings, they've been fighting tough, even against weaker teams. Let's be honest here. Maybe not the Bruins, but 7-8 loss in OT to the Senators. It's a game you should win. Shouldn't be giving up 8 goals to the Senators. They lost that Bruins game in OT as well, 1-2. That's the offense and defense we expect from the Kings. 3-1 win in Buffalo. They're not looking impressive. They're not looking like a sharp team, whereas I feel like the Maple Leafs have done everything you want and hope and expect them to do if they're going to go where they want to go, right? The defense stopping the puck has been a problem for them, and they've handled that so far this season. The Kings, I know they just scored 7 goals. That's an outlier based on the Kings team we've seen the past few years. They probably won't do that again. If you're looking at the Kings scoring 1 or 2 goals, maybe 3, like we expect them to, I still think Toronto has enough offense based on what they're showing, especially following that first game, to pick up a win there. Maybe this is, I think the Leafs win by multiple goals. So I'm going to take that -1.5. It is +140 on DraftKings right now. I think I'm going to lean under 6 at +102. Could be a push, but the way the Leafs are defending, the way the Kings do defend, generally speaking, that seems like the better way to tackle this game. The over for this is -122 at that 6 under, +102. If you want Kings +1.5, it's -166. I did forget to mention that. For this game, Mark surprisingly took his team against the puck line. He usually gets nervous picking the Leafs, but he does have Leafs -1.5 penciled in here. He's confident in his boys. Let's see if it pays off. That will be probably the best game of the night, maybe the second best. This one's also pretty good. We got the Boston Bruins on the road in Denver taking on the Colorado Avalanche. This will be Boston's second road game of the season, but first time not in the Eastern time zone. As for the Avs, this will be the third straight home game. This will also be them looking for a win still. Before we get to that, they are favored, as you can see, minus 135. Their puck line minus 1.5 is plus 190. The Bruins plus 1.5 is minus 230. Over under for this game, currently at 6.5. We got minus 105 for the over, minus 115 for the under. And I feel like this one, you just got to keep it simple, Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. That's what they tell people. Colorado has not shown they can stop the puck. I was very high on this team. And it pains me to say this, especially since it's against Boston tonight. But that defense, that goaltending, they're not getting enough stops against the Bruins. That is a death sentence. If you're going to give up 4, 5, 6, they gave up 8 in their first game. If you're giving up that many goals, you're probably not going to win, even with an offense as insane as the Avs. And against the Bruins team that structurally, defensively, they're sound, they're well coached. You do that, you give up that many goals, you fall behind, it's game over. So taking the over has been the formula in all of Colorado's games this season. It was last year. It was the year before that. Fading Colorado has worked all 3 times this year, picking them to lose. I'm plus 114. I'm taking that over 6.5. I don't see a reason why this is any different. The Avs have to win eventually. This is a good team, and they haven't shown anything yet. They have to show me that they can hunker down defensively. They have to show me that they can pull out these wins. Even if they're scoring 4+ goals, it hasn't been enough this year. So Bruins money line plus 114, over 6.5, minus 105. Mark, my partner in crime, chose the Boston Bruins money line as well. Last, certainly not least, the Utah Hockey Club, off their first loss ever at that moniker, their first shutout too. They got shut out 3-0 last time out, taking on the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks are 1-1, and I guess lost in Vegas last time out. This will be their home opener. Looking at these teams, the offensive disparity, at least to this point of the season, has been very wide. The Ducks have 3 goals in their 2 games. They scored twice against the Sharks. They scored once against Vegas. Their offense, pretty lifeless. And Utah just got shut out. That's not going to happen again. They scored 16 goals in the 3 games before that. That's over 5 per game. They're looking like a pretty good team. It wasn't the easiest schedule. I'm not going to act like it was a gauntlet. But, the Islanders, they're all right. The Rangers are a good team. The Devils are a good team. I know that was their loss. They're playing some pretty tough hockey teams. They came out of it. They're 2-1-0 on that road trip to 3-1-0 in the season. So pretty high on Utah, as you should be, or as we should be, I should say. So I think the offense bounces back after getting blanked. They got some rest. They're on the right side of the Mississippi for this one. I'm taking the Hockey Club minus 1.5 over a pretty weak Ducks team, as we anticipated. It is Anaheim's home opener. I'll cut them some slack. That over 6 is minus 122. I like it. I'm going to roll with that as well. But the Hockey Club minus 1.5 is plus 160. Great odds. I think they should win this one comfortably. I see another 4 or 5 goals from them. And that should be enough to get the job done. Clayton Keller, anytime goal scorer, plus 140. I like those odds as well. Obviously, they've been lighting the lamp a lot down there. You're talking about the Hockey Club. I know Dylan Gauthier is actually the one leading the team with 5 goals. But Clayton Keller, he has 6 points. Clayton Keller is the guy. And I think he finds the back of the net today. I mean, he does have 3 goals in their 4 games. It's not like he's a slouch. It's not like he's been, slacking off. He's been scoring a lot too. So I do like that one to get things started. Mark took the hockey club, Utah Hockey Club -1.5. So we agree on 3 of the 4 sides here. Very interesting. Very consensus play, or day, I should say, for the Pucks Across Borders family. Now for the best bets. Mark, in a surprising twist, he never does this. Maybe it's because he's not here. He doesn't have to talk himself into and or out of it. He's taken the Leafs -1.5 at +140. He thinks his boys are going to beat the Kings by multiple goals. Stunned. Can't wait to see how this one treats him. He's usually really nervous about those, but I agree. I just said it. They're playing really well, and the Kings probably going to be tired on the back end. Road trip found consistent offense. They had that one explosion. Probably won't happen again against Ottawa, but that was just a weird game. Toronto -1.5 +140 is Mark's best bet. As for me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not fixing it. Boston Bruins, Colorado Avalanche, over 6.5. Vegas heard me. They shifted the odds to -112. It was -105 when I just talked about it. They don't want to see me win, and I get it. But every Bruins game has been like that. You know what that offense is capable of. With, all the guys there, Makar, McKinnon. I'm just going to say et cetera because I could just keep going. They do have, even with their struggles, they have 10 goals in 3 games. They scored 4 goals apiece in their first 2. They are fine offensively. They've shot the puck at least 30 times in all of their games. The problem is 8 goals allowed in the first one, 6 goals allowed in the second one, 6 goals allowed in the third one. They can't stop anything. This Bruins team, they scored 10 goals in the first 2 games. They scored 3 goals last time out against the Panthers. They've played the Panthers twice and came away with 7 goals in those. That's a really good defensive team. That's a really good goaltending team. They scored 6 against Montreal. The Bruins are good offensively. The Bruins defense and goaltending has surprisingly struggled this year. They allowed 6 goals in their opener, or in their first game, excuse me. They allowed 4 goals in 2 of their other games. They haven't been stopping the puck clean. Over 6.5, -112. Lock it in Denver. The family play that we won't really get to agree on. Oh, I'm sorry. They just changed the over to -115. They really don't want to see me win. I'm going to do it anyway. But the family play for this one, it's something we agreed on. He's not really here to put his stamp on it as well, but we had the same pick. We didn't confer before we did this. Utah Hockey Club. That puck line, that -1.5 is +160. They're taking on the Ducks. We presume the Ducks are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. We assume that Utah is going to have at least 4 goals after getting shut out last time they played. We assume they're going to get back in the win column. They've looked pretty good. The Ducks aren't really doing anything offensively. So Utah Hockey Club, -1.5, +160 is the family play for this one. The family play is undefeated this season. Just a heads up. When we agree, it tends to work. The parlay for that, the 3-leg parlay, is +1066 odds. +1066 for the Maple Leafs, -1.5. Over 6.5 in Bruins Avalanche and Utah Hockey Club, -1.5. Actually, the odds just changed because the over 6.5 keeps going up in Denver. That's your sign to bet on it right now because the odds keep getting worse. You're just losing money the longer you wait. But that is all that I and we have for today. To the 22 of you tuning in, we appreciate it. Thank you for the support. We will be back tomorrow to talk more puck, recap these games, go over tomorrow's games. I'm pretty sure tomorrow's a pretty busy day. I'm pretty sure it's 11 games on the slate, so you don't want to miss that. We got some good ones coming tomorrow too. Rangers, Red Wings, always entertaining. Panthers, Canucks, 2 really good teams. Golden Knights, Lightning, not only a cup rematch, but also good teams. I might have just lied about the cup rematch there. Anyway, we are done for today. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good one.